Well, it's important. All right, so I'm going to go over each one. If you have any questions, just wait till I finish going through the topics, all right? Okay, so topic 1. In relation to the commitment towards climate action and the rights of development, how do you think the least developed countries, LDCs, or it's called developing countries, can integrate climate conservation into their development policies? Specific reasons and examples support your answers. So basically what this means is, you have a poor developing country. Should they sacrifice their economic growth for climate change or to help the environment? So, do they have rights of development? They can say, hey, look, I don't want to spend money on saving energy. We're going to have a coal plant. We're going to build factories. We're going to make money. Or should these countries invest in solar, wind, hydroelectric, cleaner fuel, which could be more expensive? So there's a balance. So you've got to pick your opinion and explain it to me. It has to be your opinion, and I want your solutions to it. Okay? Got it? Good. All right, next. Topic 2. Use of artificial intelligence is expanding in the future. Do you think the advantages of artificial intelligence outweigh the disadvantages? Give the solutions to limit the disadvantage and present your final decision. So, what's always the disadvantage of AI? The robots will take over and kill us all, right? Right, too smart, kill us all, take all our jobs. So that's the extreme. But, one guy did, I love my smartphone, but does my smartphone love me? And he talked about the awareness of AI, and he talked about Google's AI was the same as a 12-year-old child's emotion level, and they got rid of it. Is that like killing a human? What are the disadvantages of these AIs, and how do we stop it? But limit the disadvantages, solutions. I want your solutions about this. I don't want a report about AI awareness. I want to know what you will do about it. There's no right answer, no wrong answer. It's just how you present it. Got it? Good. Next, according to the WHO, over 6 billion doses of the COVID-19 vaccine have already been administered. Global production is now reaching 1 billion doses a month. However, globally, vaccine access is highly inequitable, with coverage ranging from 1% to over 70%, depending largely on the country's wealth. In your opinion or solution in this situation? So, for example, some African countries only have 1%, Nigeria, 70% in East Asian countries or more. Is this fair? If a country has more money, should they have more access to vaccines? Why not everybody? Why not the poorer countries? And what would you suggest? For example, someone suggested if an African country has a diamond mine, give that diamond mine as payment for the vaccines, or give some of their resources away. So in your opinion, what do you think should be done about the vaccine inequity in the world? All right? Type 4. For example, Apple, Google, Facebook, Tesla, famous international corporation business performed in 5 years, okay? So you can pick these ones or famous international corporation. For example, VinFast built a plant in America. In 5 years, America's going to be driving VinFast cars, all right? So you can talk about that. Facebook, losing money in the metaverse, not doing too well. Elon just bought Twitter. Facebook might not be around in 5 years. It might be like MySpace. You can talk about the negative of a company. Apple, not many iPhones are selling, right? So you can talk about will it be stable? Another cell phone company take over? But I want your analysis. I want your reasoning, okay? I want your examples. What do you think is going to happen? Next one. This is the safest one, but not the most interesting, but you can make it interesting. Explain about the most impressive scientific discovery or invention, all right? So scientific discovery could be penicillin, or you could talk about antibiotics, and you can talk about what it's like, but what does the future hold for antibiotics? You could talk about, for example, don't do the smartphone. Everyone's doing smartphone, don't do that. But it could be something related to the smartphone. For example, Zalo. You think Zalo's the greatest invention? Great, talk about it. What's going to be the future of messaging services like Zalo? Okay? Someone did light bulbs, which is pretty boring, but talked about how they were consuming energy, less energy, and in the future, no energy. All right? So they took a small topic but made it bigger. This is a very safe topic, but not that interesting. You have to make it interesting. Got it? Last one. Recently, many countries emphasize that globalization to solve global issues and accelerate development. Give examples of global issue and recommend your solutions. So for example, globalization has so many different parts. to expand development. So, for example, if you have a poor country, or sorry, a rich country surrounded by poor countries, you have immigration, legal and illegal. That will accelerate the growth, but you have problems with people from other countries coming in, right? One reason of globalization. Also, you have what's going on locally. No one wants to deal with China. No one wants to export or import from China. So they just ship the parts to Vietnam, assemble, then export, okay? What problems does that have? It also helps the Vietnamese economy. So there's a lot you can talk about with globalization, but I want your solutions to problems that pop up, okay? So we're going to be looking at your problems, but what are your solutions? That'll get you extra points, okay? Questions on the topics before I move on? Yeah?
Can I choose a discovery that I found the most impressive, like about me?
Yeah, sure, what is it?
The camelback.
Do you have a mask? You take it off.
Oh, mass potential. Can I choose it?
Mass potential of what?
No, the camelback. The camelback potential.
Camelback?
Yeah.
What's that?
It's just a new discovery
Mm-hmm.
in 2020.
Okay.
And it's about like business stuff like it's. I think it's related to magnetic field.
Great, so perfect. So I never heard of it. Camelback, good. All right, so if it's related to physics and magnetic field, great. So this is a new scientific discovery. I'm interested. So you can talk about that, and then but you have to explain kind of what's going on and what it discovered, and what's the future of it, and what's the application. In your opinion, what would be this could be used for? Okay.
Must be like topic 6. So, can global issues is really like climate change?
No. Well, let's see. Like, if you could come up with an example where one country came into another country and changed the climate, but that's going to be really hard to prove. It's got to be more. It's got to be more that countries, for example, like Myanmar. They are a little bit opposed to globalization, very strict to get in, very hard to get in. Some countries can operate there, but they're not that welcoming. But if you look at some countries that are too welcoming, too many companies came in, they took over, the government's corrupt, they're polluting, you can say they're getting around using pollution, they're getting fined, they're causing problems. So globalization and climate change would be, I would see climate change, you're going to go back probably to, yeah, to one, but again, it's like, this is more, should the country grow versus worrying about their environment. So, yeah, if you say climate change would just be too broad. So what I would do is I would focus on a certain case of globalization where many countries are dealing together, or importing or exporting or working together. Find that case, talk about the problems, and then your solution. And climate change is too broad. Next. Good. You guys are smart. I have a lot of questions. All right. Let's talk about the structure real quick. So basically, introduction, main body, conclusion. We're really looking for a good introduction. Start with interesting facts, interesting stories, jokes, anecdotes, something visual. We have to look at a lot of different videos here. So if you just get up there saying, Facebook lost $6 billion in the metaverse, my name is Matt, it's like, not good, not a good start, okay? So you want something that's really gonna grab the judge's attention, all right? This is Boyd, he's one of our students here, one of the best speakers, and what he's talking about here is black holes, white holes, space-time relativity. Very complicated, but watch, he does something very simple here to get your attention, all right?
Today, I want to share with you a very interesting topic. But before that, let's enjoy some art. This is called The Persistence of Memory, made by Salvador Dali. This image shows that time can be bent in some way in different areas. So that's why today, I want to bring you about space-time and white holes.
Quick introduction, 29 seconds. He says something interesting, but first we're going to look at some art. Wait. He's going to do interesting art. I'm a little confused, but I'm watching. He's talking about the bending of time, okay? The bending of clocks. So black holes, they bend time so you can travel across space faster. So he starts going into that later. But he gives us a visual interpretation first, something to look at and something to think about. And it almost is confusing, but I want to learn more, okay? So this is a great introduction. Main body, again, this is probably the easiest part. Again, I want the problems, explaining the problems and the solution. You should probably come up with 2 or 3 of these, all right? And that's important for the next step, the conclusion. Summary of main points and final comments, creative advice and solutions. So a lot of people they've just been giving the speech, you know, this is what happened, this is a black hole, this is the relativity, thank you very much. But there wasn't much solution, it was more of just like a school report, like a science project, okay? We want your solutions, all right? So for example, if you choose Facebook, you're like, yeah, Facebook's gonna fail because they looked at virtual reality, they ignored Instagram, and they should have fired Mark Zuckerberg 5 years ago. All right? Very powerful ending, very strong points. That's what we want to hear, okay? Questions? All right. Yeah. No, fun? Okay, cool. Okay. Next, I'm going to bring in Jessica. She's one of our top speakers here. She will give you advice on kind of body language, content, and some strategies with inside the speech, okay? All right, good luck, guys. It'll be fun.
The next one is innovation. And the third one is gesture, is your body language, okay? So before we actually know what is chunking, I want somebody's here can read me this sentence, please. Any volunteer? I know you guys have something to do. Okay, can I invite you? Yeah.
As a way to increase the client's retention and make advice on long languages that is a company where they find originalities in place. This makes the company through its top and long-term
Okay, thank you. So you can see that there's a common mistake that you guys may make is that you read just like a straight line like this. Companies use career path as a way to increase employee retention and engagement. Employees more likely, we don't read like that when we're presentating, okay? When we're presentating, we read like this. Companies use career path as a way to increase employee retention and engagement. Employees are more likely to stay with the company where a well-defined career path is in place. So you see that there are some slashes here, and these slashes are where you're going to stop or pause your voice, make your voice lower. So this is also this definition of chunking, is you have to fasten your voice or lower your voice in some places and make it logically. So can someone read this paragraph again with chunking skills? You want to try? I see you raise your hand, right? Can you read it?
It's not really for China.
Okay.
Companies use career path as a way to increase employee retention and engagement. Employees are more likely to stay with a company where a well-defined career plan is in place to help the company reach its short and long-term goals with less turnover.
That's right, thank you. You see, when we stop at some point, we're grouping the word together, it's easier to demonstrate and it's easier to understand, also easier for you to read the word, okay? So, I want one more person to read this again. Can I invite you, young lady? Can you read this again with chunking?
Companies use career paths as a way to increase employees' retention and engagement. Employees are more likely to stay with a company where defined career plans in place. This helps the company reach its short and long-term goals with less turnover.
That's right, thank you. So you see, you have to stop at some point to make it easier to let us in your brain. And it's also give the audience the time to process what you're saying previously. Okay, so here's a briefly explanation of what chunking is. When we group the word together and we have the pauses and the distance between those groups, it's called chunking. And there's no rules about where we're gonna pause or where we're gonna stop, but there's some place the stop is more natural than others. Okay? So coming to the next part is intonation. You can take note if you want. This intonation. This is really hard to understand and complicated, so let's get into something more practical. I want you to, in 1 minute, please practice to read 2 of these sentences as natural as you can. You do not have to read it fast or read it slow, just as possible, just easiest as possible and as natural as you can. So 1 minute, start now. Okay, so time is up. Now I'm going to invite 3 people to read me those sentences. The first one is, can I invite you over there. Can you read me from the start to every sector?
With the development of AI, the more innovations have come in industry of every sector, and people feel losing jobs will increase the development of AI. But in reality, AI has come up with more jobs and opportunities for people in every sector.
Okay, thank you. Another one. Can you read the rest? Okay.
Read the number 2.
No, the rest of the paragraph. You can sit there.
I thought I had to read all the paragraph.
You want to read the whole paragraph?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just read the whole paragraph.
The further development of AI, a revolution has come in industries, every sector. People fear losing jobs with the increased development of AI. But in reality, AI has come up with more jobs and opportunities for people in every sector. Every machine needs a human being to operate it. However, AI has taken over some roles, but it reverts to producing more jobs for people.
Excellent pronunciation, thank you. You can sit down. I want one more person to read me the last sentence. Then by you, seem a little bit sleepy, huh? Okay, can you read me the sentence, please?
I think it's the revolution, isn't it?
Okay. You want to read that one too? Okay. So there's a common mistake that you guys may make in information is that your pronunciation and your chunking is excellent, but you read like this. I remember the slogan is Blackpink is the revolution, isn't it? See, it's really boring. It's like a robot reading, but we're not robot, we're human. So we're gonna read like this. I remember the slogan is Blackpink in the revolution, isn't it? You see, you have to get your voice toned up and toned down in every sentence, like you said. When you're in a statement, your voice goes low, and when you're in a question, your voice goes up. Not only your voice pitch going up and going down, but about your face expression too. When you're happy, you have to tell them that you're happy by your face. When you're sad, you have to tell them you're sad. And when you questionate something, you have to show them that you're curious about the answers. Okay? Just like this. I remember the slogan is Blackpink is the revolution, isn't it? Or a statement. However, AI has taken over some roles, but to produce more jobs for people. See, my voice go up and go down, just like music. It's not a straight line like this. Okay? So after I explain it, can someone read me back these sentences? I want to invite you over there. Can you read me the first part to the sector? Of the sector?
A revolution has come in of every sector and people will losing jobs with the increased development of AI. Vâng, thì bác có được một đó để một opportunity people in every sector.
Okay. One more person to read the rest of the paragraph. I want to invite you. Yes. Every machine? Let's go. Every machine, yeah.
Every machine needs a human being to operate it. However, AI has taken over some roles, but it reverts to producing more jobs to people. I remember the slogans that thing is the revolution, isn't it?
Yeah. Her voice is a little bit low, but you can heard that. But you can heard that her intonation is excellent. Her voice go up and go down, really, really good. And for clearer, I'm going to read this whole thing again for easier demonstration. Okay? With the development of AI, a revolution has come in industry of every sector. The people fear losing jobs with increased development of AI. But in reality, AI has come up with more jobs and opportunity for people in every sector. Every machine needs a human being to operate it. However, AI has taken over some roles, but it reverts to producing more jobs for people. That is the statement. But here is the question. I remember the slogan is, black paint is the revolution, isn't it? You see, so something goes up, and something goes down. So please keep practicing to get it more as natural as we can, okay? Then coming to the gesture part, but before that, I want to show you a video of me and my friends speaking in the University of Economics and Finance.
Experience and actually the earth is not the center of the universe because in humans' mindset, we love to take risks and we have a desire to success in everything.
I think that everyone has to go through the time that you have yourself and your own family, your home, and that feeling is becoming worse day by day, and it causes sickness of depression, anxiety.
So you see, when me and the boy over there is talking, we just stand up like this and talk. Hello, my name is Norina. We move around, working with our hands, working with our face expression, and so our whole body. So that is called the body language, and it's also the gesture. And here I'm going to show you the 3 common gestures that you may need to use in your video. Okay? The first one is the give gesture to show opinion. You can see that I'm holding the mic, so I can only use one hand. Really naturally, give. For example, I really want to stop the world from war. I want the world to be peace, to have peace. See? Okay, so can somebody try to make an example of the give expression? And by you, the girl with the headband. Can you make some example out of the give expression like this? You can use one hand or 2 hands. Like this.
And speak a sentence and
Yeah.
I love my family. They are very good, and I love people in here. They are very friendly and nice to me and other people.
Thank you. Okay. So another one. One more person. I'd like to invite you, the guy with the yellow pants. Okay. Can you give me an example of the give expression?
I think that the whole thing is very delicious.
Yes, me too. Okay, I think bubble tea is really delicious. Really natural, okay? Come to the next gesture, is the chop. So, have you ever seen your parents cooking? Yeah, so before they serve you a really stunning dishes, what do they have to do? They have to cut the vegetable or the meat right. So here's a knife, and here's the table or the meat. Create a sound, a loud sound. And this gesture is to emphasize your main point like this. For example, I will use this sentence. I really think that bubble tea is really delicious. This is really strong, but do not hurt your hand, right? Create a strong sound, okay? But there's a really common mistake that you may make is that you do like this. Or in every sentence, or in every word you said, for example, I think that, not like this. It's to emphasize the key point only. I really think that bubble tea is really delicious. In the key point only, okay? So, is there anyone can make me an example of the sharp expression? I would like to invite you. Yes. Say anything, any point. So I would take my as an example, okay? I really think that we should stop bullying in all of our schools in Vietnam.
I think we need to stop hunting and eating animals.
That's right. I think we need to stop hunting and eating wild animals. Think hunting and eating wild animals. The key point is that, and you have to do that action on is your key point. Okay? Come to the last gesture is the palm to show that you're trustworthy, to show that you're not lying. That you're defending for something. For example, I'm in a company and I'm doing a marketing strategy for them. Okay? And I want the investor to invest in my company. So what do I want to say? I really think that you should invest in my company. I will give you a lot of benefits, a lot more profits for you and your further development. I'm proving that I'm right. I'm proving that I'm not lying. I'm defending myself. Listen. Or you can do it with one hand. Again. See, some of you here in the final round, okay? And I have some more tips for you in your presentation. So I've seen that. Can I borrow it? Okay. So you have your framework and you have topics for you to choose. Okay. So there's many more people, a lot of people that choose the same topic as yours. So what do you have to do? Think differently. You do not go the road that people have went there before. Think something new. Some new ideas are only your opinion. Only unique opinions of yours. Okay? Or you can create some counter arguments. For example, all over the world, people say yes, they agree to that statement. But mine says, somehow, I'm disagreeing with that statement, and why? Because something strange, something unique attracts people to your presentation. So please create something new in your presentation and do not want the road that people went before. And that is my tips for you for your presentation. And I hope I'll see you back in the final round. Okay, thank you for listening. Do you guys have any questions left?
If you want to add your topic to present, okay? The most important thing you gotta do while you're trying to illustrate the topic is to think different, okay? Remind my word, think different. Why? Because maybe your topic is kind of new, but there are some ideas that's been very common to a lot of people, which means that if you're trying to emphasize those points, which means you're trying to repeat what other people say, you're not presenting, you're trying to read it again. So instead of going the same old way, you need to think of a new way, a road that nobody ever traveled to before. You need to make sure that the audience will have a controversy with you. Let's take an example. There's two main opinions that most people judge. One is agree, two are disagree. The second example is like your topic. Most people prefer disagree. However, the negative way also has some of these crucial points. So instead of trying to follow the crowd, should you go into the positive? Why don't try to go negative? That way people will arouse their interest because they've never seen a person trying to go the opposite. Not only you could go the opposite, but also you could use a story. As you tell the story, trying to focus at the main detail that they're trying to bring. And after that, you came up with the moral of that story, which means the lesson that you want to give. And that lesson will be related to the topic and make sure that the audience will understand the topic as clearly as they can, and also they will assume the same and follow. What's your opinion? What do you think? Right? And last, trying to watch your attitude at stage. When you're presenting at a big stage and you're presenting at home, it's a big difference. Because at home, you could feel comfortable with everybody that you are feeling, I'm getting used to this. But however, in stage, you need to watch how you move, how you speak, and how you act. Make sure that people feel like, yes, you are a professional presenter and you act the way that very formal and very easy to understand. So that's all I got to say to you. Thank you for listening.